welcome to Getcha Popcorn Ready podcast. This is your host, Hatch, with my boy.
What up? This is your boy T.O. Hello.
Hello.
We got Ahkello.
Rhymes with Jello and... you supposed to be coming behind me with something.
You took the rhyme.
Yeah,
Jello rhymes with Jello. I don't got nothing left.
You whack, dog.
Fellow. I'm mellow.
Mellow, okay. Ahkello Witherspoon is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. 5-year NFL veteran, corner right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, re-signed, right? Congratulations on the new deal.
Appreciate you.
Right? What's the first thing you bought?
Man, I ain't buying nothing. Just put it all to savings.
That's what I'm talking about.
Add the new contract. Just keep building up the savings.
That's awesome. See, ladies and gentlemen, right? You see on ESPN all the time, NFL Network, this player's doing this, and they wilding in the club. And as you just heard the man, right? He's putting in his savings. He's doing the right thing, right? Getting the right tutelage regarding his finances. So again, appreciate when the players do the right thing. Absolutely. Don't just go ahead and talk bad about the players when they lose their money, right? Because again, we get that a lot, obviously, in the space that we're in.
So what put you in that mindset or mind frame of saving, financial, literacy and things of that nature? Was it your mom, dad, combination of both, or what did you go to school for?
I think growing up, just seeing my parents be financially stable without a lot of money, just being able to work their money in a way that can help us grow and be comfortable as children. And then my dad just kind of set me up coming out of college, just making sure that I had that mindset that this isn't forever.
Right.
And just setting me up with a financial advisor to help me make those correct decisions, and just being conservative at first to build that foundation and then start branching out and making more aggressive investments. I went to school for biology, so really just being aware of many things through that process of college. It teaches you a lot about finances and science and just kind of having a complete understanding of the world.
Yeah. Now you had to go back and get your degree, right? You left school, of course, you were, playing ball, but you decided to go back. Was that like a promise you made to your parents, yourself?
Nah, just a promise to myself, because once again, I was taught just that my education is for me, and that's something that's always stuck with me. So when I had to leave school early because of an injury, I had to get a shoulder rehab. So I wasn't able to finish my degree. And I just knew that once that time came in the NFL, I would take that time and go back, take that opportunity. COVID hit, and a lot of the classes that I took were labs that you had to actually be present for on campus. So when COVID happened, they switched those and made them available online. So it was just, I had to take advantage of the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Knocked out like 16 credits over the summer, and that was all she wrote.
And that's pretty much indicative of your career. You said taking advantage of the opportunities. That's what you've been doing with your career. And obviously you started out in San Francisco. What did you learn? Obviously Richard Sherman was one of those prototypical type corners that, your body size, rangy. What was it about his skill set that you maybe have learned from him and really kind of added to your repertoire of skills?
I think really just settling in to the unique traits that we've been blessed with, and not trying to make it look like other corners are going to make it look like. And that's something I had to really kind of understand, because you come in and people want it to look like Richard Sherman. But Richard Sherman is the one that told me that you'll never look like me. You have better feet than me. You have better hips than me. So it's going to look a little different than what he does. And just kind of getting comfortable and settling into that niche of who you are as a player and what you bring to the game, as special, as unique, as one of one. And that's kind of where it grew for me. And then just start believing in yourself almost to a fault. You're not even really present out there on the field, and that's kind of what I got from him.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to hear Richard Sherman, who was a vet, who's established himself as one of the top corners, at the height of his career at that time, especially in Seattle. What was it like to hear him tell you, you have better feet than me, you have better hips than me? Because I played with Jerry Rice, and he ain't told me that. He ain't told me none of that. You know what I mean? So what is it? Right, exactly. What was that feeling? And then, like I said, obviously you're just starting out, and then just to hear somebody, like I said, of his caliber tell you those things.
No, it does a lot for a young kid. Once again, just trying to find your way in this league and understand who you are as a player, as an athlete, just growing into your body and getting more comfortable with what you can bring to the game. And so just to hear that type of humility was something I wanted to replicate as well. So that's something I share with with people that I'm able to touch. It's just being humble and being able to share and return those same favors and those same efforts that were given to me.
Absolutely. So now, again, you're going into your 6th year. You're one of the older veterans in the locker room, right? Who are some of the younger kids that you look at? It's like, yo, you could be me. You're a little Witherspoon to me. You know what I'm saying?
There's dudes on the Steelers right now like Justin Lane, James Pierre, guys that I've touched when I showed up. When I was with the Seahawks, Trey Brown. It's just really any young guy that comes in. I make it a conscious effort to give them everything that I know. And just kind of be an open book, because you don't know what they're going to do with it. You don't know where they're going to take it, and then you take a note from them. Yep, that's the way I look at it. I'm not really afraid to share, because at the end of the day, like, it's only going to make you better as a person.
Again, of course, speaking of the Steelers, again, over the weekend, we got some devastating news, right? Your teammate, Dwayne Haskins, passing away. You were down there in Florida working out with him. Where were you, like, when you got the information, and how shocked and how bizarre is this whole situation?
Yeah, that one was tough, just because I had only known him for a year, but he definitely touched my spirit in a short time. And specifically just him and his interactions with my daughter when I was just down there. So just to know that she's touched skin with that human, and then to hear that news was tough for me. I was actually on a flight. I was on a flight to Sacramento because I came back from Florida and then went to go do a camp just this last Saturday. So I was on a flight to Sacramento, touchdown, and landed and saw the news and just texted my fiance, like, did you hear about Haskins, whatever. So it was just a lot. But once again, it was timely for myself because you're just going and putting in that time to these kids after also putting in time to your craft in Florida. So for me, it was just a reminder to commit and to give back and just be thankful for the opportunities that you have, the time. So it was just a good reminder that my perspective and the way that you look at life and the way you appreciate people and appreciate the time on this earth is important.
Absolutely. And then you have a new daughter, right? 6-month-old baby girl. You know, again, all this stuff comes to you at this moment. It just makes you understand, like, this life is important. This moment, the season, all you know, the off season, all these things become so important. You know, as you're going down this journey, because as we know, the football part is not the important part. You know, we think it is, you know, but it's just not the important part. So, like, give us some other, like, loves that you have outside of football. You know,
I love music. I love art. I love my family. I love people. I love connecting with people. And really just understanding people's why and what makes them tick. I just have an infatuation for knowledge. And so just like, for me, it's just just a chase of just wanting to grow and just be a better person. And that's kind of one of the things that I spend a lot of time on.
Yeah, and I want to go back to Dwayne just a little bit, because like you said, you have an affection just for people and just wanting to grow. And I know I worked out with Dwayne a year or so. I think it was right before he got to Pittsburgh, and I worked out with him in that Florida area. So where I live is not too far from where he got hit on the freeway. So I remember, you know, that was my first time meeting Dwayne, and from just the outcry and outpour of support around the football community, the league, that they've shown him, it was nothing different than what I saw and what I read, because when I was around the kid, he was all smiles, you know what I mean? He was hunger for knowledge, wanting to learn. And even when I was out there just running routes, you know, he was asking me, like, you know, what can I do? What do you see? And he was obviously excited to throw to someone of my caliber, but just to be around those guys, and you could just tell, like, he had that aura about him of wanting to be better, wanting to be great. And then, like I said, we all have our ups and downs. We have our trials and tribulations, and no one is perfect. But obviously, you know, the moments that I shared and I remembered from him was just him wanting to be better. And then the things that I saw that I could have helped with him being, as far as a quarterback, you know, throwing, you know, getting the ball out quicker, accuracy and things of that nature. Those are some of the things, if you go and look at some of his Instagram and just people talking about him, that was really what he embodied, is trying to be better. realizing the skill set that he had. Nobody has really gotten to see it on a bigger stage leaving early out of Ohio State. Man, it's just so unfortunate, again, that we lost, someone at such a young age.
Yeah.
I know you say you was only there for a year. What was it about him that you feel or felt like, he could be or he could have been what I think
feel his potential.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it, like you said, just his interest in getting better. He really had that focus every day. He was scout team quarterback for a lot of the weeks that we're preparing to go win a football game. So being able to speak with him speaking with me, like, hey man, how'd you get a hand on that ball? What is it about what you saw pre-snap? And just those type of qualities are the same stuff that I appreciate about the game, and kind of those layers, down in, down out. And so I think just really just his ability and his desire just to be better was something that was special, on top of just his energy, his daily approach to the game, and just really having fun and loving the game, regardless of circumstance. You got a guy who probably wasn't in ideal circumstances for the regular person or the average person, but he made the most of it every day, and really wanted to get better as a player and as a person.
Yep. And again, a lot of people, they see the NFL players like, oh, he's been a superstar since day one, right? You didn't even play high school football until your senior year in high school, right? So like 12, 13, 14, like, what sports were you playing, and when did you figure out, I'm pretty much a dude athletically, I just don't know what sport I should be.
Yeah, I was playing baseball, soccer, and basketball my whole entire life. I played 1 year of Pee Wee football, or 2 years of Pee Wee football before that. I enjoyed my time during it, but soccer was really just one of my passions. And they were during the same season, so I couldn't give up soccer.
All three of those sports that you mentioned, they got guaranteed contracts.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna choose the one.
What? That's crazy. Soccer, baseball. I mean, geez, that's crazy.
No, but it was really, when I had a growth spurt, I just had to make that decision. It was between basketball and football at that time. And really, I think I just wanted to be with my guys, because that's what kind of turned me up my senior year on football, was just all my buddies were out there playing football. They weren't on the soccer field. They weren't on the basketball team. So for me, it was just being out there with my brothers, and I didn't even know where I could take it. I really didn't. I just enjoyed the game, and I enjoyed competing at a different level. I had competed on a hoop court. I had competed on a soccer field. I had competed in baseball. But nothing's like lining up across another man that think he's about to do something, and then he don't get the job done. Like that's the toughest form of competition to me. So it just really, I stepped into that space, and I just fell in love with just taking another man's ideas away from him. Like you think you're getting the football, but you're not. Like.
So again, that 1 year you fell in love with the sport, because after that you went to a junior college. It's not easy to go to junior college and still have aspirations of going to the NFL.
That's not an ideal path for anybody, because
they can go straight to your
Power 5 schools or any, like I said, any surrounding school that, like I said, wherever you're living, you want to go to that particular university or college.
So again, like when you got to the junior college, like were you in love with football at the time, or you just like, look, I still just want to get to the league?
Yeah. When I got to junior college, I was really just trying to get out in one semester, because I was a qualifier coming out of high school. I just didn't want to stay there for 2 years. I was at Sacramento City, which was 10 minutes from my crib, and it was just important for me to get out and get as much exposure as I could in 1 year. So I was just in the grind. I actually ended up playing safety for more of the snaps because teams weren't throwing at me at corner. And so my coach put me at safety just to help me make more plays. And he just, Coach Walker, he's one of the people that really believed in me and kind of took me to that next space in terms of just understanding what gifts I had and what I could do with the game. And he really just pushed me and took me to that next level. We went like 1-10 that year, but I still got a scholarship from Colorado. I had like three, 4 offers.
So how good were you your senior year in high school? It's like where you started. Because it was too late. You were on nobody's radar, nobody's board, right? So did you get some rankings of a 2-star, 3-star? Or you're just like, I was just out there playing?
Nah, I don't even think I had the rankings of the stars or none of that. I was just a 6 foot, 150-pound kid, just really flying around. I could run. I had good feel, good ball skills. So I was just really just out there making plays.
You had all the physical attributes
Yeah.
for what the league,
obviously
for what the
want.
league needs. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah. But I didn't even know really what I had. I was just kind of just enjoying my time playing the game.
Yeah. Okay. And then you go from there, from Sacramento to University of Colorado.
Colorado.
Big time football.
Yeah.
So like, what was the down part of going to a big program? Like, were you just successful right off the bat?
Nah, my sophomore year. So I showed up spring ball as a freshman. Just kind of getting better and growing and putting on weight. Still having a growth spurt too, so just adding height. And then sophomore year, I was just like a third down nickel cornerback. I would come in on the outside, and our outside corner would slide into nickel. And that's kind of where I got some of my first exposure, making plays. And then junior year is kind of when it just all clicked, and just I've been balling since then, really.
Right.
Still had the BS, ups and downs, trials and tribulations of the game, but really from my junior year on, I just kind of got better, and then my senior year really honed in and understood the game and locked in. We played a lot of press man, so it was easy for me my senior year just to really focus on the dude that was in front of me and just take them out of the game. So it was comfortable.
Right. Anybody ever give you that work that you were like, yo, I still got to get better if I want to get to the next level? Like,
my senior year, no. My senior year, that didn't happen. Like, it just didn't. Nobody was messing with me. Really, our whole defensive backcourt was nice.
Who else was back?
Chido Bay Awuzie, he's with the Bengals. Yeah. Isaiah Oliver, he's with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Okay.
We had Afolabi Laguda, he was like one of our safeties. Wow. Tedrick Thompson was at the Seattle Seahawks.
Okay.
So we had dudes all in one back end. Yeah.
The nickel package was real.
Yeah. Okay. So it was just you weren't messing with us on the back end.
Nice.
Right. So you're year 6, and now, like I said, you're kind of really now trying to establish yourself, or really like, what is it going to take for you to be like, or what's success for you as far as like the rankings? Is it like being the top corner, or do you see guys that are getting paid like all this money, like, yo, I do similar things, or you don't feel like you've arrived or gotten to that point yet to be in a position to garner some of the money that they're throwing out there?
No, I think for me the biggest thing is being available and being consistent. I think that's the next step for me, and I think with that I can be in that conversation.
Consistency. So that's something that you feel like you need to work on.
Yeah. I mean, and not as of recent. I've been very. Last year I was very consistent.
Gotcha.
But last year I also dealt with being traded, so I wasn't out there for enough snaps to get that type of acknowledgement.
Right.
400 snaps isn't gonna do it in this league. You need 1,000 plus, because that says you've been out there game in, game out. Yeah, and I'm excited to take that step. It's also health is the biggest thing.
True.
Just growing up and having a late clock, I think my body had to take time to lock in and get strong enough to really withstand
and adjust to the game.
withstand the NFL season. So I think really that's the next step for me, is just being available and being out there every snap and playing at the level that I've been playing at. And that's what's going to take my game to the next level.
So being with the 49ers, I mean, like, what did you learn throughout that process? Was it more humility? Was it more they don't know what they're talking about because I already know I'm good? Like, what did you take away from that process of leaving that organization?
I took a lot away from SF. I think the first thing is that just to love the game, because if you let people control and dictate your opinion of the game or who you are as a player, that can really affect you spiritually, mentally, emotionally. And so that's really one thing that I learned from them, is just really play with that kid passion and that kid love for the game. And then it's really not about the 49ers or the Steelers or whatever organization you're employed by. It's really about you and your commitment to your craft. And that's something that I've taken away from my time then, and just kind of turn that page and just being a ultimate professional, being committed to my body and being healthy. And that's just stuff you have to learn through being injured or through not having that commitment at times and seeing that you could have done better. And that's just kind of what comes with that process.
Yeah, tell again, we always talk a lot to the fan base, parents and kids that also watch the show. Tell everyone how important the mental game is, regardless of the physical. As you know, right? People can be 6'2", 6'3", run 4.2s and 4.3s, right? How important is the mental aspect of NFL football?
I think it's the most important component, just because you're doing a task that not many people do, and you're putting yourself out there to fail and on a big stage. And
key word right there, fail.
Fail,
right? A lot of people, I can't fail. You have to fail.
You have to
have
fail.
success,
Yeah.
right?
And that's one of the things that I've understood and accepted is that I'm essentially showing up to fail. That's the job. When I wake up to go play the game, I'm already checking failure off the list. So now it's like, what type of success we gonna have? Not the other way around where I'm trying to be perfect and then failure shocks you and you don't know how to handle it. And that's kind of one of the things I've learned is just appreciating those times and understanding that you can learn from them if you're prepared for them. But if you're not, they're gonna take you out of your game or take you out of your approach. And now you're gonna be kind of all over the place for the rest of the game or whatever that looks like as a second-year player for myself. But I think that's really just important is just understanding that that's part of it, it's human, and that there is no space to try to justify or want someone to understand this space you're in because they won't. They're not out there covering people for a living. So you just gotta accept that uniqueness about you, accept that lane that you're in as a human and dominate it and own it, really.
And I think another element of the mental part of the game that really comes into play that I think not everybody thinks this way, but again, like we just got to finish talking about injuries, which that's inevitable in every sport. But just think like, okay, you go into a game, especially later on in the season, you're not really 100% healthy always.
Not after
and then
week
there,
2.
right, exactly. And there are a lot of games, sometimes you're playing probably a little bit more injured than you need to be to play a game. So when you're not 100% physically able to play a game, that's when really the mental part comes into play. Because sometimes, like you said, you've had shoulder surgery. I've had issues where I've had a high ankle sprain or a shoulder or a rib or something like that.
Your face.
Yeah, that too. My face always looked good. So that outshined anything that I did. But that's part of the game because sometimes like if you go in like, oh my gosh, I'm hurt, this and that and the other, then you're gonna be actually favoring the injury. So you really have to hone in on the mental aspect of the game so you don't make those mistakes when, like I said, if you're focusing on something else, then you're not really thinking about obviously what's going on around you. And then that's when those mistakes start to happen. So would you agree that that would be a good part of that mental aspect of it? I mean, you have you have your pregame where you sit to yourself and you kind of go through the playbook and then you go with your coaches and you kind of play the game before the game. That's all mental parts of the game too. But there are some little intricacies of the game mentally that you have to play with during the game yourself.
I mean, it's like if you're gonna, again, film, right, meetings, all that stuff is mental, right? But that's not what we're talking about. We want the audience to understand we're not talking about that. We understand that's the mental part, but it's actually being on the field and playing those mental games with yourself.
What makes you? What makes Ahkello? Like until you dive in or we dive into what makes you. Nobody really knows. They just see you as a DB. You got DB skills. You're out there balling. But again, like I said, there's a transition. There's a trajectory in which you're trying to get to. What makes that happen? And like I said, it's not always just physical all the time. Sometimes it's mental. And like I said, as fans watching the game, they don't know how your body feels. They don't know what aches. They don't know what's really hurt and not really reported. You know what I mean? Those are all mental aspects of the game that you take into the game that really a lot of people don't know.
So it's like, what do you take away? Like what is that part of your game?
I think the just learning how to detach from the moment. That's something that I've really honed in on in my time in the NFL is a catch didn't happen. When you make a play, it didn't happen. When you get an interception, it didn't happen. When they score a touchdown, it didn't happen. When it's the first quarter, it's not happening. When it's the fourth quarter, it's not happening. And that's kind of where I found my success, is just being present, down in, down out, to get the job done right now. And that's it. And sometimes when it's the fourth quarter and it's a tie game, some people get tight because it's fourth quarter and it's a tie game.
They're thinking about scenario.
But what if it's not? What if you just back out and say, I'm just really guarding this dude on this play to win on this play. And if I win, it has implications to y'all. Y'all see it as this big fourth quarter play, but I'm not doing that. And that's, even with the injury stuff, that's part of that as well. It's just like the second I'm out there, whatever injuries or nagging I have, that didn't happen. That's not happening. Not today, because I got a job. As simple as that. And that's why I'm out here. That's why I made that change, and that jump is just, That's not happening. Not to me. What's happening is I'm gonna make plays. That's what's happening.
Yeah. Like, so it's like if you're in the situation, right, in the scenario, you're not one of the guys, because as receivers, it's a receiver DB talk now, right? We hate y'all when we catch the ball 5, 6 yards, 20, and y'all still doing all of it, right?
Yeah.
Why are y'all celebrating when we just had success?
I'm not celebrating when y'all catch the rock.
So why
if the ball hits the ground, you getting one of these.
Okay, what if you had nothing to do with it? We 3 yards ahead of you. We dropped the ball, and y'all still do this.
Or it's an overthrown ball. Or an underthrown
we killed
ball.
you on a sluggle. We got you beat by 10 yards.
I can't speak on that because I'm not doing that. when that happens, I'll look at bro like, oh, you almost got me. Like, a better throw and you would have had you.
Been toast. Right.
But nah, if you say if I press you up at the line and it's an overthrow, now I'm going crazy because I know that
there was something that you did to prevent that.
Yeah, even though I didn't touch the ball, I know that disruption early at the line. It's probably gonna throw off your timing. Yeah, that's the reason.
You taking all that?
Yeah, I'm taking that for sure. So there's different times, or even like just footsteps. Sometimes footsteps spook somebody. So
right.
Like they hear you coming. Maybe you're not in a position to make the actual pass breakup, but it was gonna be catch, bang, bang. Like they hear them footsteps and they drop it. Like I'm turning up. Like I'm on because I was on the way. Like I'm definitely in your ear. Like
you don't seem like the talkative type.
Right, because you seem
that's perfect. That's how I like it to be.
Yeah, you seem very mild, reserved, quiet.
Nah. I talk my mess for sure.
And you know what would be annoying? He go say it in that same low tone.
For sure.
Right.
And that's gonna make it even worse.
Yeah, because I was gonna ask him about the turn up. Like, okay, is there anything? What turns you up? Because like I said, that's how I am. Like off the field, I'm pretty chill, reserved. But then on the field, I mean, my play is a little bit more animated. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for me, I'm out of my mind on the field. That's really how I explain it. I'm not present. I'm a different person on the field.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Like my coaches got on me this last year for celebrating when we were down like 27-3 or something at Kansas City. I'm in the corner losing it. I'm flexing, looking at Kansas City fans.
Like, we down 27-3.
Yeah, he's like, we down, whatever. He's like, whatever. I'm like, coach, you can say what you want, but I'm not present. I can't even explain that. I can't even justify that. Like, I hear you, but my passion for the game, it got other plans. Like, it's not about your normal agenda or what you think is appropriate. Like, I respect it, but I can't even correct it.
I can't turn down.
Right.
And it's like, how can you turn that down when it's the same thing that a week earlier helps bring your team back? Like I was celebrating a week before that.
The same way.
Yeah, the same way when we were down 27, whatever. But my pick is what kind of stirred up the game to start forcing a comeback against the Vikings. Right. So it's like, how do you know when that energy is gonna be that?
So you
spark?
basically you're keeping that same energy.
That same energy.
You're keeping that same energy whether you're losing, winning, or whatever the outcome.
I got
a
commitment to me. I got a commitment to me and the time that I put into the game. It's like it's bigger than.
So you don't take that as him saying there's a time and a place for it?
Yeah, no, I understand it. I understand it. I understand what he's saying, but he's also in the booth. He's upstairs in the booth saying that. You know what I mean? So it's like, you're not out here.
You're not in the corner of the end zone.
In the corner of the end zone.
Right.
Yeah, while Mahomes rolling out, like that's a big deal. Like,
I feel you.
Yeah,
because I in a similar way, it's just when I wasn't one of those guys like I make a catch and I got to signal first down or all that all the time. Like my motivation was getting into the end zone. That's when the celebrations happened for me. So anything prior to that, I didn't really get all that animated. It was just getting into that pay dirt. That was when I turned that.
I celebrate as much as I can, dog. 'Cause I ain't get a lot of balls thrown my way. So give me a 5-yard first down. Yeah.
That was normal for me. I'm getting on, so I understand that. We was on two different plateaus.
Yeah, dog.
And as he said, he's in a whole different
world.
Atmosphere, metaverse. He's in the metaverse.
Metaverse on your own.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But yeah, because we always talk about, again, the team's energy and, how do you fit in with the team and like leaders. Because again, we talk a lot about how he was perceived as not a leader, but another leader on the team can say the exact same thing and then perceived as a good teammate, right? So when you do that and the coach says one thing, but the younger players respond to you a certain way, do you take that as part of the leadership? Like it's okay to turn up because, again, we still might come back this game.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing is just being secure in who you are. Like, I know I'm not a selfish teammate. I give everything to my brothers. So if in that moment that's interpreted as me being selfish, then I'm gonna take that every time. And then I'm gonna holler at my men on the back end and say, look, I'm not changing for no misinterpretation, for no opinion. I'm not gonna do it because that would be short selling myself and y'all, because that's the same energy I bring to practice every day. And y'all see it, y'all can vouch for it. So when we walk out of that meeting and they looking at me like, man, don't even worry about that. Like, that's the type of stuff that kind of solidifies and just keeps you grounded and keeps you going, because you know that them young cats are looking up to you and they know what you're about on a daily basis, not just a lapse of misinterpretation. You know what I mean? So.
Wow.
Yeah. So going into this new season, I mean, y'all, quarterback situation. Y'all have had a long ride with Ben Roethlisberger. What is the outset or the outlook of this upcoming season? Because, like I said, are you guys looking at it sort of like a rebuilding? Because obviously, like I said, there's really not a quarterback per se that's, I mean, I guess Mason Rudolph is going to be, I guess, is he your starter for now?
I'm not sure. I think it's a competition.
Competition between him and
Trubisky,
Right. Then a rookie will come in. They'll draft one or two. They'll get a quarterback at 1 or 2, I'm sure.
Right. So, I mean, you going in defensive-wise, like I said, obviously, defense wins championships. Obviously, Pittsburgh Steelers, they've, over the years, they've been known to having good, stout defenses. Is that something you feel like you're solid? You as a team, as a whole, you're solid on defense? And then, do you feel like going into it, you guys are going to have to basically put points on the board? Because, like I said, you got Trubisky, who was drafted. I mean, he's been traded here and there. He's not really a really
proven starter.
I would say. What is it, like I said, going into this season? Because, like I said, as athletes, we all go into this, go into the off season, into the next season. You kind of know like what kind of team you're gonna have.
Super Bowl or bust.
Right, exactly. What is it, you feel like you guys need to show up in different areas to be competitive or even put yourself in contention? Like I said, just to have a successful season and then possibly get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think the goal is the Super Bowl, and I mean that. And I think with the uncertainty offensively, I have it as well, just because I don't know what the offense will look like without Ben Roethlisberger. I don't limit our potential quarterbacks. I don't limit what they're capable of. But I think you place that uncertainty on how you approach the game defensively, and that's what I'm willing to do.
Right.
If I'm not sure what's going on the other side, I'm gonna lock in more over here. That's the way I look at it. I think that's the way our team is gonna handle it. So I think the goal is to be a top defense in the league, hold it down, game in, game out, and see how they develop and see how they grow. I know we have the weapons, we have the brain power, we have the football savvy to be an effective offense. Now it's just gonna be a matter of them putting it together, whoever them is.
Right.
And I think that's the biggest thing, is just really committing defensively, because you always have an opportunity if you can keep points off the board.
Absolutely.
Right, exactly.
And embracing that challenge and what that looks like, to be a dominant defense and to lead a team and to be the reason you win games, and not holding off points or keeping 30 points off the board. No, be the reason you win games, because you putting goose eggs on the board. Like, and I think that's the only approach you have. And then if they start putting up 30 a game, you like, shoot, let's both rock out. And I think that's the appropriate way to go about it.
Yeah, because y'all's division has all of a sudden become the toughest division in the AFC, right? You got Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, you got the Bengals over there, the Browns, they'll go up and down, whatever. But now it's like winning the division is not enough, right? Of course, playoffs is never enough, right? Super Bowl is always in the top of your mind, right?
Yeah.
But individually, as far as Pro Bowl, best corner, like what's going to be a successful year individually for you?
Right.
I think my best year as a player, and that includes statistically, that includes availability, that includes health. I think my best year as a player, and I'll be comfortable with what that looks like. I don't have a ceiling on that, because I think it would be limiting myself.
Yeah.
And that's just how I'm built, and that's what I'm about. But I just really want to focus on giving myself the best opportunity to be the best I can be, to help my team win football games. I think the best me equals a better team as well. More dubs for the team is more dubs for me. So it's really just that that day-to-day approach and kind of staying out of those big lofty goals and just committing and putting that time in every day to reach this potential that I don't even really know what it looks like, and I don't care to create one right now. I'm gonna be comfortable with where that falls.
Has anybody ever told you have an old soul?
Yeah,
right.
Definitely.
You're so calm and in the moment.
Right, demeanor.
Usually guys of your age are a little bit more erratic and.
Oh, that'd be like you said. We talked about it earlier too. You know, with guys that come into a lot of money, they iced out, this and that and the other. Like you T-shirt, jeans. You know, you got a little pop color with the shoes there.
Show everybody his shoes. Everybody see his shoes. So don't get it twisted now.
Little swag. You know what I mean? So you're not too vanilla.
Yeah. I got it in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm definitely old, so I was raised well.
That's cool.
That's definitely, like I said, kudos and you're a product of your environment. And mom and dad. Let's just talk about a little bit about Coach Tomlin. Tell us something about Tomlin, because he's one of those guys. I always find him very interesting in his post-game pressers. He's very articulate, very
to the point.
You took the word right out of my mouth. To the point. Obviously you've been there just a year, but give us a little something about Tomlin. Obviously, like he's what the only black coach, or maybe one of two.
What, in the league now?
Yeah.
No, there's a bunch now. They just
just with all the other stuff. But give us a little something about Tomlin. I think I've only met him like maybe once or twice, but it's kind of like, hi, bye, what's up? But he seems like a good coach to play for.
He's a cool dude. He's a definitely a player's coach, really very relatable, very ground level. He's not trying to big time it or be above. He's open to opinions from all people, all the way from the practice squad to the starting quarterback. So.
That's what's
up. He's just a good ambassador for the game and just really goes about coaching the game the right way, and I really believe that. One of the funnier moments for me was after like a good game or whatever. I had a bunch of like celebrations in the game, and like I said, I'd be out of my mind. So like I was doing like a snow angel on the field at one point, and I was like hitting this like robot walk on another one, whatever. And like we get to warm ups the next week of practice. He like, hey Spoon, like. Them celebrations, you've been killing them out there. You've been killing them out there.
So you putting them on notice.
Yeah, he put them on notice. He's like, we're going to need more of it, and we're going into Kansas City, I think, going to play Kansas City that next week. He's like, we're going to need that this week. Like, them boys going to need that energy this week. So just that type of acknowledgement, just for the very basic components of the game, which is energy and passion. And just having fun.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that really stuck with me from this past year.
Right. As having an African-American coach, do you think that you have had any type of conversation or situation that you had with him that you couldn't have had with a white coach?
I did actually. I told him, because he was speaking to us about just being a man and how the challenges of the league can cause people to be kind of fold as a man, or it's difficult to overcome those challenges. And he was speaking to people that didn't have their fathers in their life in the room. He was saying, some of you don't have your father, so if I can be that light of male influence for you, please take it. If not, if you have it, please take it, whatever. And I just remember walking up to him in the practice. I'm like, as a man that has a father, a very secure relationship with my father, I told him, you do a great job delivering your message to make it comfortable and acceptable for all people in the team meeting room.
Whether they had a father or not.
Or didn't.
You said, you have a father, you know what I mean, but you could feel it.
Yeah, and so it was just cool just being that transparent, being honest. I don't think I could have done that with anybody else, especially another black man that has children that he's raising, that knows the value and the importance of that presence in a young man's life specifically. So that was just something that was real cool for us to speak on.
Yeah, that's powerful because, again, we're always trying to give our opinion on this is why we want more African-American coaches. And people think it's about football, and they think it's about the X's and O's, and it's really nothing to do with that. Again, sometimes we just want more people around that we can relate to.
Culture.
And have them conversations.
Yeah, because like I said, you can't take a white man and put him in our hood, in our situation, and then now you put him in a head coach situation and then
expect him to
relate or understand what we've gone through. That's just, it's impossible, even though, you may try to have an understanding and put yourselves in your shoes, but you just can't do that.
Yeah.
It doesn't make you a bad coach,
right?
But there's just some times that we need certain things as far as players and men especially, right? So again, of course, you grew up with your family, like that family, I guess, dynamic. Do you feel that in that Steelers locker room? Because there's a lot of all those Steelers teams that used to win, they were always had great locker rooms, like great locker room leadership, close knit guys. The city's not one of those big cities where everybody can go out and party like a Miami, New York. So
they want those blue collar,
right? I remember, I mean, used to hang out up there with Deshae Townsend and Hines Ward and all those guys. And that locker room is so tight, right? So how do you feel about the locker room is right now in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I think it's the same, and I think it all comes from our head coach and the way he facilitates that work environment. He's big on just family and brotherhood and fellowship and spending time with each other, and it's not just about showing up to practice. It's about where can you get that extra time in to really get to know your brother.
Yep.
Because that's where you find that extra effort in the fourth quarter is knowing that your brother has bled and cried the same tears as you. And it's just something that we pride ourselves on, and just being honest with one another and going about it like a family would, and that's being honest, sometimes having those uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah.
But that's the type of stuff that you grow from and that you build that security in your brother with.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So, of course, you've been watching ball these last few years, right? You know the position. Give us like your top 5 corners in the league right now.
Top 5 corners.
Again, in your opinion, if you can put yourself in there if you want to. Again, you don't have to be 1 through 5, but just like your 5 top corners.
We'll go myself, and this is in no specific order.
Absolutely. Yep,
myself, Ramsey. I like Lattimore. I like J.C. Jackson.
Trending up, big.
I like Xavier Howard. He touches a lot of football. You can't argue with that.
Miami,
Ballin'.
right?
Yeah, Miami.
Okay.
Shoot, I mean.
Now, do you take any of those pieces of their game and start adding it to you and what you do?
Yeah, definitely. I think catching footballs is one of the things I took a big jump on last year.
Really?
Like,
get on that jug machine.
Yeah, because I was just always a press man corner and just PBUs, like pass breakups. Right, by the time you look, that thing is already on you. Yeah. It's just one of those. Like, and I think really just realizing that you can catch every football that's thrown your way, or having that mindset, even at the sake of not touching it at all, maybe. None of y'all, either the receiver or the DB don't touch it, but you was going for the catch. It's just a different approach. And that's what I've seen from Xavier Howard, for example. Jalen Ramsey, I think just that approach of just nobody can touch me. He has that mentality. That he's very vocal about it. And yeah, I think, just all the guys, you really just watch them all and take little tidbits, take little pieces that you can and just apply it to your game.
So speaking on that, taking that next step of, like you said, catching more footballs or getting more interceptions, is that going to take you identifying things early to, like you said, the balls can be up on you. And in order, obviously, to catch the ball, you got to see, what the route is. You got to understand route formations or what have you, what the quarterback's reads may be. So in order to get some of those INTs, those OSCEs, then is that going to take you identifying things a little bit early? Because like you said, this is probably like another element of your game that you're trying to trend up in. It's like, okay, you got this part down, like the bump press. Now getting back, getting your head around, reading body language, things of that nature.
No, for sure. It's just getting out of that press man world is very robotic, and you have to have your eyes on the man because you don't know where he's about to go next. And that's kind of what I've done for so long, but catching football is a little savvy in it too. It's a little bit of getting out of technique. It's getting away from your foundation, and that's kind of what I'm seeing. It's one of those times where you can kind of just become a baller and just kind of make a play just because of something you felt or whatever. You don't got to be as robotic, and that's what you need to be successful at other times. But to get picks and make plays, you got to have a little swag with it at times.
And like I said, we go out, we run routes. I'll help his high school kids from time to time, or we'll have some sessions where some other collegiate guys or some guys, preparing to get into the league or whatever the case may be. And I take that same approach because, like I said, like you told me, we as receivers, we know where we're going. Y'all just reacting. You know what I mean? So that's how I take it. You know, if I'm pressed with a guy, or if it's free access, then I'm trying to play a game kind of like within the game, because I know there are some savvy guys like that. They're going to be reading yards. They're going to be reading the down and distance. They're going to be reading hips, head, things of that nature. So that's something, like I said, I've evolved with my game as I've gotten older. That's why, again, I'm sure Hatch, you know, we always joke about it, but I mean, I know I could play now based on just my knowledge of the game. And in certain situations, I could be successful.
Do you think you could catch a ball on him?
Oh, no doubt.
Okay,
absolutely.
Let's stop right there. Stop.
Out of 5, I'm going 5 to 5.
Do you think that he would catch a ball on you?
That's the same. Them the cats I'm talking about. they lie.
Them cats right there.
Them the cats I'm talking about.
They cuckoo for cocoa.
I got to get him.
They think. They show up and they think.
He was drafted 3rd round, 66th pick by the 49ers. I was 3rd round, 89th. So we was in the same draft round. He got
you were drafted 1961. He was drafted 2017.
You was wearing shorts.
Right.
So speaking of receivers, give us your top 5 receivers in the league right now.
Top 5.
You don't have to necessarily play it against them, but you see them do work and putting in work every week.
Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
Oof, those are early in their career too.
Early,
making noise. That's the thing. These guys are making noise early as rookies. And I think the thing is, just like with you, for them to obviously, because I don't want to hear nobody talking about this year after they play all these Hall of Famers after year 2 and 3.
Pump your brakes, right?
The consistency. If they can put a string like 5, 6,
8. 5 to 8 years.
Now you're starting to, you know,
in that conversation,
put your resume together. You know what I mean?
For sure. Stephon Diggs is in there.
Okay.
DK Metcalf.
Okay.
I mean, it's really like 9 freaks in the league. I feel like it's just a clear group at the receiver. It's like when you show up, you're like, okay, I got to guard a freak today. Like, let's get busy.
Right. Yeah. So to go against a guy like a Stephon Diggs or a Jamar Chase, that are like probably really shifty, and then you'll go up against a guy like probably a little bit bigger about your size than DK Metcalf. What's your mindset going into our approach to those type of receivers versus DK Metcalf?
I think with a bigger receiver, just with my size, I try to match him. And not.
Do you think that's easier for you versus Stephon Diggs or a shifty guy?
I think you try to match the big guys with your feet and use your size and what I think is elite foot skills and hip ability, which maybe a bigger receiver lacks. Lacks. And so you use those tools just to kind of stay on top of them and use that ability to win the route and not get into the physical game with them, because that's where they're comfortable.
And that's what
lean on me. I feel you right here. I got you.
But that's what drove me, because I knew, like I said, for a DB, that's how they think. Like for a big guy like us, we don't have the footwork, you know what I mean, or the hips, you know what I mean. Right. So those are things that I felt like I needed to hone in on and get better at, and then I feel like that would be an edge or get me to the elite level. Because physically, I could get through hand checks, this and that and the other, but I wanted to basically quicken my feet, hips, transitioning in and out of route. That's what I wanted to do, because I know that's the mentality of defensive back. He's not as quick getting in and out of his breaks. So that's going to allow a quicker DB, if you got quick feet or drive skills, to get their hands on the ball. So that's what, like I said, what motivated me to do that, because I knew that's how they think.
And that's what
on the other hand, I don't know what your issue was.
Hater alert.
Hater alert.
I don't know what your issue was.
There was no issue. First of all, let's start right there.
Okay, you're right. There was no issue.
I got film. But no, go ahead.
No, but I think that's what makes like DK Metcalf, Mike Evans, those bigger guys unique, or makes them special, is they still have that other side of their game where it's like, you better watch out or you can get got with some good feet or good hips real quick. So that kind of makes them complete. The smaller dudes, I think, get hands on them and just disrupt them, and now use my size to make them uncomfortable, because they're not used to seeing
laws of physics.
Give us a guy who might not have been the fastest, might not have been the biggest guy, but he was just giving you problems. You couldn't really put your finger on.
I know for a fact. Keenan Allen gave me problems my second year, and I was just out there like, what is he doing? Because he's
4'6".
He gave me problems.
Keenan, shout out to Keenan Allen.
He gave up one. I think I gave up 2 grabs that day, and that was problems for me because they were like the ones where you're looking at him like, he's like, 2 out routes. Right. I'm like, why is he creating this much separation? But not Keenan Allen. He running down the field, looks like he's just marching.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I'm about to jump, whatever he about to pull out. And he into that out route. I'm like, man, what he got in his bag?
And been doing it. Like been doing it. He been consistent, going to 6-7 years, consistently putting up numbers.
Keenan Allen got a deep bag for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Who, like, anybody ever like waver your confidence, like shake your confidence a little, like they were just killing you? Like,
I ain't been killed yet.
Okay.
Check the tape.
Do you know it? Do you know what's coming?
I gotta get
I
gotta get back on the field, dog.
It's coming. Somebody go kill you.
I gotta get on the field.
What you go do?
Well, who's gonna kill me?
I don't know. Somebody.
I gotta get on the field.
So nobody ever had 100 on you?
No, I mean probably, but it didn't feel like kill.
See, that's that DB talking.
Well, I don't know.
So
I don't even know. Hold on, 100 on me? I think the most grabs I've given up in a game is like 6, and that was for like 90 yards. I might have given up like a big play, like on some BS, like Christian Kirk, my middle field safety.
Yeah, wasn't there to be found.
Or even last year, my middle field safety iced me out on my first game with the Steelers. Henry Ruggs went bomb on me for like 60 to end the game.
Okay.
And I was just like, what
That's
are we
right.
doing?
The 30 second on the clock, or 4 seconds on the clock, something like that.
Bomb on me. And like it looks like it's on your boy. But
it definitely looks like it's on you.
Is on you. Yeah.
That is that.
But where my middle field safety at though?
Right, exactly. If it depends, like the coverage. If the coverage dictates that he's supposed to be over top, then all everybody sees is that
you running behind him doing this.
Right, he came off you and everybody like, yo, what is Spoon? What is the DB doing?
Yeah, so I've been part of that. I mean, it's gonna be some hundreds out there. But you can watch the tape. We can go play for play.
That's fun. How do you feel in that moment where the corner or the receiver is 3-4 yards in front of you?
Yeah.
The safety is not getting over there, and you know it's about to be 6, and you know it's gonna be on ESPN.
Yeah. I'm like, man, this can't be happening. This ain't happening. This is what happening.
I don't understand.
This ain't happening.
I see this in college too, and in pros. Like I said, the defensive back is beat, and they're gonna score, but they just dive anyway. They just go dive.
No, you ain't gonna dive.
I get that.
You ain't
yo, what are you dive? You're not gonna.
You 4 yards away.
You're not gonna
and you dive like this.
Does it just look good on film?
It just look good. That's
because the coach wanted more effort that day, so he's like, I'm sure I'm gonna dive.
I'm shutting it down. If I got beat like that, bro, I'm just
I'm
downshift.
Make no sense. Yeah, that's funny. Hey, well, shoot, I appreciate you coming on, though, man. I said taking the time out, doing your thing with us. I know you got to get back to Diego.
Yeah.
But let everybody know where they can find you on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and all that as well.
Yeah, my Instagram is just my name.
Is your camera right there? Let them know.
Yeah. My Instagram is Ahkello. I'm about to get it jumping, actually, so y'all follow me.
There it is.
Twitter, I'm not even active on it, but I need to get active on it, so Ahkello as well. Snapchat, you can't have that. I'll get in trouble.
No Snapchat. Okay, cool, man. We appreciate you, man.
There it is,
stopping by. And everybody check out my man Ahkello. He's on the rise.
Yes, sir.
There it is already. Get Your Popcorn Ready podcast. See you next week. Peace.
Yeah.